Good morning, Redemption Church, and happy Good Friday. You may have asked yourself sometime in your Christian life, why do we call this day Good Friday? Well, let's put ourselves in the place of a resident of Jerusalem on this day some 2,000 years ago. Think about it. People had been flooding into the city. Everyone had been coming in to catch a glimpse of this man, Jesus of Nazareth. They wanted to see what kind of things that he would say. What kind of things would he do? The Jewish leaders were in an uproar because he had went out and challenged their authority. So they went and they had Jesus arrested. They had him placed in front of Pilate because they had no authority on their own to hand down a death sentence that has to come from a Roman official. Pilate passed Jesus off to Herod, Herod back to Pilate. Both find no fault in him, but rather than be a righteous ruler over a matter of injustice, Pilate cowers in the face of the crowd outside, screaming at him not to release this man Jesus, but release to them Barabbas, a notorious criminal who had been jailed for starting an insurrection and for murder. If you close your eyes, you can hear that mob shouting out in unison, "Crucify him, crucify him, crucify him." Scripture says it was loud and that they shouted with a sense of urgency. So folding under the weight of the pressure of the crowd, Pilate grants them their wish. Continuing your own curiosity, you follow this mob as Jesus bears the weight of the cross, being stripped and beaten by Roman soldiers. You see them hand off the cross, the instrument of Jesus' death, to a man by the name of Simon of Cyrene. The crowd continues to follow Jesus as he's dragged up the skull-shaped hill by the name of Golgotha, where they drive nails into his hands and into his feet. They push down on his head a crown made of thorns. They spit on him, they mock him, and above his head they hang this sign that says, King of the Jews. As he's crucified, you hear the skeptics, "If you're really God, save yourself." And then we hear Jesus mutter, "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do." After a few hours, the sun's light fails, darkness covers the whole land, and Jesus cries out, breathing his last, "Father, into your hands I commit my spirit." Good Friday? You see, without knowing just how much God was at work this day, you might say that this was the most evil of days. Innocent man has been brutally beaten, and a terrible injustice has been done. But this day was a good day, for God was working on this day, for you and for me. The single most important day in the history of our world was this day. It wasn't just a man hanging on that cross. It was God himself, God in the flesh, the man Jesus Christ, and on him was the weight of your sin and mine. On him was every transgression committed by both you and I, so that his righteousness could be imputed to us, so that we can stand in front of the Father cloaked in the righteousness of Christ. Because of this day, no longer are we slaves to the flesh. No longer do we follow our own darkened hearts, and no longer do we have to drown in sorrow, not knowing what the future holds. As terrible as this day must have appeared, it was good. When it appeared that evil had triumphed over good, God was ready to redeem the world. It is finished, and in just a few short days, we celebrate.